When it comes to working on your own original material, as you get further in your career, do you find you get more notes or less notes?
Well, I'm still at the level where I get a lot of notes because I'm not at that level of showrunner
Okay.
that has that huge hit behind them that's earned the right to say no to notes. Um, it varies from network to network, and it varies from executive to executive. Um, but the last show I worked on was the show I got most notes on
Mm.
forever. So it
Yeah.
doesn't. It all kind of depends on. But I also know that I've gotten quite good at taking notes.
Mm.
And again, it goes back to being that assistant and watching the writers fight with the network. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do this eventually. So I have to figure out and not be so attached to the work that was out there because
Yeah.
it's going to have to change.
Do you feel like you've gotten better at discerning what notes to take and which ones to
Well, I
ignore?
still have to take them all, but well, actually, I worked with one network that said I didn't have to take them all. Yeah, I've gotten just more discerning about how to solve them. Sometimes, when I first read notes, the last show I worked on, and they would give me 6 or 7 pages, line notes, and there were 3 or 4 different executives who gave them, and I would just be like, it would just be this huge hit in the face, like, how am I ever going to do that? And then I'd read them a second or third time and go, oh, really all they're saying is they need more clarity in the first act. So I need a new scene in the first act that kind of sets things up differently. And some of this is I just have to adjust every line coming out of this one character's mouth because they think she's being too mean. Okay, so that's not that difficult. It just means changing a few words here and there. So I figured out how to be efficient with them. And again, that's a skill that even young writers, young writers, if you're getting notes from friends or a writers group, you don't need to treat them like the network and do them.
Yeah.
You need to find out if more than one person is agreeing about the notes, right? If you have 2 or 3 of your writers group are saying this is unclear,
Yeah.
then you have to they have to understand that they're right and that the script is going to be better if you address their notes. And one of the greatest skills I encourage people to have is being self-evaluative about your own work. I used to say, when I used to print out scripts and hand them to people, I would also include a letter, a sealed envelope that had questions that I had about the script.
Huh.
And I would say, don't read this envelope, don't read this letter till after you've read the script. But they'd be questions like, I'm not sure the first act break is right. What do you think about it? Or the scene that starts on page 14, I'm not sure it's necessary. What do you think? Or this joke on page 25, I'm not sure it's funny. What do you think? And I would give people permission to be critical of my work because a lot of people just want to be encouraging and you need to get them to be critical
Sure.
and tell you the things that don't work. And it means being open to things that don't work. And I learned that going back to being a playwright. If I'm sitting in the room and people are not laughing at these jokes, I got to rewrite those jokes. I can't take it personally. It's not an attack on me. It's a separation. You have to separate the work from who you are. So figure out a way to get people to be not cruel with their notes, but tougher than people naturally want to be. And then weigh whether or not they're right.